Hey guys, I'm S. Dan Wolf, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the Magnificent Rides Collection DLC review I've put together for you here. Thought we were going to get this on Tuesday. It had to be pushed back a little bit. Me personally, I was kind of on team pushback because I think that if they would have put out a broken DLC or a broken update, I think the forums and Reddit would have been an absolute raging dumpster fire. So I think it was really the smart move. A little bit of a risky move, but they pushed it back a couple days, and seems like they've got it right. They've got our gizmo fix. It seems like the Disney park, the FPS issues seem a lot better than they were post-update 1.10. So, yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in, and we will take a look at some of these rides and what they've come up with. And you can grab this right now for just about 11 bucks. And yeah, so let's go ahead and jump in and see what they have created for us. Alright guys, and the first one on our list is the Grand Carousel, arguably one of the most beautiful and elegant fairground rides ever made, and a true community favorite. It's fun for all the family and will evoke fond memories for anyone, per the update notes. And I definitely can side with that description. These are really big over here in the States. Normally you do see them a little more, typically they are mostly horse focused, but this is, their model is really cool with the planes and the hot air balloons and the little carriages here. And even, I mean, just look at the detail, even as far as the little portraits back there on the centerpiece of the ride. And really cool. As soon as I saw this, and as soon as we had heard about it, I immediately thought, oh yeah, everything goes back to the Disney park right now. But I thought, what a perfect size for the Prince Charming facade. Not that, you know, the blueprint that I have on there, I love it, but it's still, it's with the little tiny carousel. And but this right here, it just, I mean, it just fits perfect. And if you want to, if you actually want to see the size comparison here, right here is the Venetian. So Venetian stands a little taller, but definitely a lot skinnier. So that is really cool, and I think that will make it a lot more believable as far as Behind the Castle goes, kind of leading into Fantasyland. But nonetheless, you know, I love both of them. I love kind of like that little upper deck area on the Venetian, but just the charm of the larger Grand Carousel here. Absolutely incredible. As far as my home park goes, in Dollywood, the line to the Grand Carousel, there's always a wait for it. Really popular ride, and really cool that we have it in the game. Here it is, a little moving now, and like the description says on the forums, such a highly requested feature, highly requested ride from the community. So definitely good on them, good on Sam and the guys for getting this put together for us. So yes, that is your Grand Carousel. Alright guys, and up next we've got the Swift Eagles, a ride from the bygone era that has stood the test of time. Your guests will love sailing through the air, but watch out for the cheeky riders snapping the cars. And this ride is actually, you know, yeah, it's kind of one of the older rides. You know, like they mentioned in the on the forums, but this ride is actually this style is making a comeback even in the form of you know, coming back to Dollywood in their Wildwood Grove expansion. They have this exact ride going in right now, and it is the Mad Mockingbird. So obviously, you know, instead of like your little you know, eagles here, that is going in right at the base of Dragonflyer. They're one of their new suspended coasters. And yeah, so this is like, as far as like 2019 goes, you know, one of the a park that sees 5 million guests a year is bringing one in. So really interesting little ride. I love the mechanics of it. I love the little kind of like the little flare outs, or the little kicks that they do, kind of as they see how that one back there just they kind of dive in as it gets higher. Kind of a large footprint, but you know, it's kind of understandable as far as how far these swing out. But yeah, so a really, really neat ride. I think, well, obviously it'll definitely help me with a Dollywood type recreation when I get to the Wildwood Grove section. And obviously all of this is the Eagles, everything is recolorable. And it's just another thing I think will help me when I get to the Mad Mockingbird part. So yeah, guys, definitely appreciate this piece. Up next, you guys have your Power Moves ride, a total powerhouse ride, taking inspiration from traveling fairs, which comes with its own customizable background. There's nothing more extreme than the Power Moves. And, you know, just another really cool fairground type ride. These things, you know, there's always a big long line for them at the state fairs and all that. But I will say one thing that is really cool about this, as far as the scenery goes, and you know, you're not getting not really getting a lot of scenery with this pack. You're actually only getting about 3 little pieces, but they are really, really cool little pieces. Check this out. You've got your little display panel here. And this is actually interchangeable, so right now they've got the little Kraken back there. But you can actually, they've got the old Planko background. They've got a spooky one, really, really cool. And then, of course, you know, you've got your, you can, if you're doing a little, like a sponsored little ride, you know, they've got that. But, you know, it'd probably take a little bit of finagling to kind of get, you know, if you do your own little custom thing. But nonetheless, that option is there for you. And then they also have a really cool, this is kind of like the ride's little generic option here. Check that out. That is a really, really cool background piece of art. Let's just see what this looks like at night. Yes. Like I said, really cool piece of art on that. Animation is absolutely killer, like, you know, like all of the rides and the detail they put in on these. This kind of sets up pretty high off the ground. It's got to get a little bit of height to it. And I'm sure the guests will come flocking to this, just as they do in the real parks. But yeah, guys, Power Moves, there it is. Really interesting ride, and I'm sure a really good ride that you will be using in your parks and adding to your collection. And the last 2 of our flat rides, I know you guys will be pretty pumped to see, is the first one is Hyperjump. So it says shoot for the stratosphere. The Hyperjump has loads of operations that allow you to vertically fling your guests in so many ways, from the classic stall and drop to the unforgiving multi-bounce, which is surprisingly flexible. And then, of course, too, we also have the taller one you'll see is Ascendance, a very similar experience and flexibility as the Hyperjump, but with a larger capacity and going to even larger extremes. So these are, you know, these are not, you know, like I said, I always think in terms of, you know, my Planet Coaster style, like recreations. I think that these will really help as far as a Dollywood type build goes. I know I've mentioned Dollywood like 8 times in this video, but I'm kind of just on a Dollywood kick lately. But as far as Drop Tower goes, you know, they're Dollywood's newest little tower ride over in Timber Canyon. And check this out. It doesn't actually have like the actual car isn't the same, because Drop Tower actually has a circular rotating car. But nonetheless, the whole scale, all of that just seems perfect. And that's another thing that's so cool about this, and kind of what the, you know, like at the beginning, like earlier in the game, it was just totally giant scale. Everything was off the wall. Like, just look how, like, look as far as how we've come. Look how small the footprints are on these things. You could build these up on a little plateau of rocks, or even like split a path with them. Really, really small footprint, and that just goes to show you how awesome and how cool Frontier is about listening to the community, about needing those smaller footprints. And yeah, guys, just like I said, these will make a really welcome, realistic addition to our parks and not have to be like just so giant, massive, you know, just mind-boggling, eye-catching giant towers. These could fit in really well with anything from a legit full-scale park to a smaller, maybe fairground recreation. So I think you guys will be really interested to jump in and kind of get these placed and kind of kind of check these out for yourself. So Hyper and Ascendance, really cool pieces. All right, guys, and coming up next is the Tracker. It says enhance your guest's dark ride experience with a 3D mover for up to 8 guests, which spins, pitches, and banks to bring the ride's story to life. And yeah, it's, you know, really cool little ride. I think like one of the things that probably jumps out the most to me is it would be like as far as Tokyo Disneyland goes and their new kind of like enchanted like adventure Beauty and the Beast ride. This definitely looks like it could lend itself to one of those recreations. And as far as like the ride vehicles, it looks like you're sitting in a giant teacup as far as Disneyland Tokyo goes. And just, yeah, like I said, really cool dark ride type of vehicle and experience. And matter of fact, actually, if we just stop here a minute and go look, I think it has one of the coolest ride animations, like as far as the doors opening and closing, that Planet Coaster has. Watch this. Is that not neat? Kind of bust that open to let people jump in. Check that out. That is awesome. So yes, I am down for any tool that helps people create more dark rides. Just really interesting. And yeah, the Tracker, really interesting vehicle. Awesome job on that. I can definitely see using this in the future. All right, guys, and of course, last but not least, before we move on to the final little segment in the coasters, is the chairlift. Now, I am not technical enough to kind of discern how realistic this is or how good a job they've done. Like as far as I can tell, everything looks absolutely incredible. And I think this is a very welcome addition. I know there was a lot of people really hyped about this. I myself am hyped about it. I think it would be really cool though, is if we had like maybe some gondola options. You know, maybe like 6-7 people fit in them, or, you know, groups of up to 8 could fit in the little gondolas. But yeah, like as far as the ride itself goes, I think this is really cool. And it's going to help out in so many places, not just like ski resort parks, but just regular parks in general. Just that transportation and getting them back and forth. And like I said, that's all I can speak on really, is just how cool this looks and how so many people were ready and wanting these. I know I can speak on as far as being like a child. I was terrified of these things, and now for some reason in adulthood I love them. Like I just think it's just a cool little concept, and you definitely don't see them everywhere. So Gatlinburg is chunked full of them. There's probably like 3 or 4 of them operating right now. You got Anakista and Uber Gatlinburg, and I think there's a couple other ones. But yeah, that is just the hardware and just the whole process and the technical, you know, all of that goes into these. I just think it is really cool. The flow of them is really awesome. And I could definitely see, like, this is just a little makeshift, like, I kind of took that facade that I had actually originally used to make Mass Bandits Old John's fishing lodge, and I have essentially just taken the fishing lodge, removed some of the windows, and kind of have like a makeshift little pass-through here. But I could definitely see expanding on this one day and actually putting the station maybe inside here, and having a really cool kind of alpine mountain type station. So that is this is definitely one of the pieces that I'm most excited about. And like I said, I'm not really a ride guy, but as far as this DLC pack goes, I am pretty pumped to actually have chair lifts. And like I said, I already have some ideas flowing, maybe even as far as the safari park goes. So yeah, like I said, just really really interesting stuff, and just like you could see it, like look how slow it is now, kind of before we make our way back into the little mountain. See if we can kind of make our turn here. And you can just see how slow and kind of meandering it is kind of going on. You could just kind of just really just, you know, really believable design. And then you'll see right here in a sec, we kind of will kick off here and gain a little speed. See how that car in front of us kind of took off? And then we're almost ready. Clink, clink. And then bam, you're kind of back on and back at full steam. So anyways, guys, yeah, like I said, really, really cool piece on this. I know you guys probably want to jump in on some of the coasters now. And but yeah, like I said, Magnificent Ride Pack, DLC, you could have yourself a chairlift. All right, guys, and up next is an absolute, seems like what was a crowd favorite, the S.L.V. So this is essentially your the Schwarzkopf you guys might have been hearing a lot about. And I think they named this in honor of our buddy S.L.V. And he was a big proponent of, you know, really, really pushing for this. It's a really old school type coaster design, and it is a, like I said, it's a big fan favorite, and really just happy with this whole pack as far as like just, you know, just packing so much of a punch for the you know, the coaster enthusiasts and the flat ride you know, proponents, and just everybody that, you know, doesn't really get their thrills out of scenery like I do. You know, like I said, I'm hoping that just because the Theme Maker toolkits come out, it is not the end of scenery, because you guys know me. That's probably why you came to the channel, is because of the scenery and stuff that I deal with. But on the other hand, as far as the community goes, I have never seen the community back a DLC as much as this DLC has been backed. So if that means I have to forego a little bit of scenery this time, I am definitely all for it. For the greater good. And like I said, I mean, normally you get your DLC whining, oh my God, I can't believe this is $10. You know, this is ridiculous just for a bunch of scenery pieces. Where are the flat rides? Where are the coasters? So I think this was the absolute perfect pack to address that. And, you know, we'll just say the World's Fair pack was a little lackluster. That one kind of, I think that one kind of let the scenery people down, and it let the ride people down a little. So, but they have definitely, it seems like they are back to firing on all cylinders with this pack. And like I said, just watching today, people have, you know, I was just checking the forums and Reddit and stuff at work, and people are absolutely hyped for all of this, and you know, rightly so. These guys have done an awesome job on this. And like I said, I think this was just a perfect pack to send those guys home. And, you know, a lot of the devs are probably getting ready to go home for the holidays. And what a blast to end 2018 with this. And, you know, just leading on strong into 2019. And so, yeah, definitely big shout out to the S.L.V. and S.L.V. and all of those guys for just being a real big proponent of getting this put in the game for so many people that were looking forward to it. So awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, guys, next up is Mind Meld. Brutally unforgiving in the extremes, this inverted coaster will really test your guest endurance on this recognizable classic. So, like, as far as the aesthetics go, you know, and as being a classic, you know, like I said, I'm not technical enough to know, like, as far as these, you know, as these go. I know that a lot of people were wanting this style, and it's just another one of those things where it's so cool that that so many people, like, this checks off so many people's, you know, this is just a big check off of so many people's wish list. You know, I don't know if I'd ever have a need for it, but it's like just every time they build up the inventory like this, if you were to need a need for it, or it's like one of those things where I guess I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So it's just one of those deals for me. It looks like a really cool, fun coaster, and I'm sure people are going to get a lot of enjoyment out of Mind Melt. All right, guys, and last but not least, I made this abomination real quick just to show you guys what the Vector coaster looks like. It says Planet Coaster's most flexible coaster yet, complete with a chain lift and LSM for a multi-launch loop in one coaster, making for a smooth and advanced ride experience. And this is kind of seems like to me almost like a just a smoother version of the Torque, but I can definitely see myself, you know, the Mindbender, but this I could definitely see myself using this and you know, actually you know, trying to build a serious coaster. And like I said, I'm not really big on the coasters, but this is one of those ones where, yeah, I could see myself trying this and seeing if I could make something work. So, anyways, guys, yeah, this is your Vector coaster option. So remember, you got 3 coasters to pick from with this DLC pack. And with that, that brings us kind of to the end of our little review here. And I'll put all of the patch notes and all of the update notes will be down in the description box below, as well as the rest of the ride, you know, all the ride names put together. Like I said, not really any scenery to go over on this DLC, so I'm probably not the best one to be giving it, since, you know, I'm so I'm just not as cultured in the in you know, coaster information and what, you know, and what looks right and what doesn't look right. But I'm definitely excited, more excited for the community on this pack, just you know, like I said before, all of the checklists that I think this really dug into with people. And so yeah, maybe now we can get back to a scenery pack and you guys won't hate on me as bad if we don't get like a bunch of coasters. But anyways, guys, yeah, be on the lookout for another TMTK review video. Got another Dollywood little scoop coming out soon. And yeah, now we can all kind of just get nestled in for the holidays and enjoy this new pack. So anyways, guys, I'm Stan Wolf. Don't forget to smash that like button if you end up enjoying this DLC review. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you. See you guys.